What's good, people? It's Jill Entertainment Network, and I'm just making a quick video, kind of talking about the possible Rico that might be coming for Jacksonville, because some people wanted me to, talk about, like, what I'm thinking is, like, future predictions for the Rico, and, like, just law enforcement involvement in Jacksonville. So, to start off, I'll give a little background. As you all probably know, JSO is fucking stupid. It's ridiculously incompetent. It's fucking terrible. It's a shit police department. One of the worst, I think, actually in the whole country. They barely solve any fucking crimes. If you look at all the people who've died from, you know what I mean, like, for the last, like, just give it the last 4 years. Just the last 4 years. I'd say only around, like, 5%, 7% at max have actually been, like, convicted of their crimes. Most of the dudes get away with it. And obviously, I think this is starting to, like, have an effect on, federal security in terms of Jacksonville. Because I think a lot of people were thinking, like, they got away with so much shit. It's been like 4 years since a lot of these guys died. It's just closed case. Fuck all this shit. It doesn't matter. They don't give a shit. Which is possible. Like, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but I'm saying the amount of fucking killing and shit going on is so insane that I feel like the FBI might actually start stepping in. You think about what they did in Orlando. I mean, that was very. You look at the AFNF Hot Boy beef or whatever that was. Like, I'm not too familiar on that beef, but to my knowledge, like, the amount of people killed in that beef was far less than anything in Jacksonville. And I've seen some people say that the reason, you know what I mean, they targeted Orlando more was because of Disney. There's, like, Orlando's a bigger tourist spot, so they're like, they want to make sure the tourists are, like, feel safe. So that's why they cracked down on them so hard in Orlando, despite not being that many bodies. And then you look at Jacksonville. Like, Jacksonville doesn't really have any tourists come to visit and shit. It's a very kind of boring city, to be honest. But then again, so that's like they're thinking, like, the feds aren't gonna do shit. They're just gonna let this all slide, right? But what I'm thinking is, like, personally, I think there's, like, a Rico. I think there's more of a chance that a Rico is gonna happen than not. I mean, like, there was already a Rico with 6 Block. Like, 6 Block already got Rico'd back in, like, 2016 or something like that. It was a pretty weak Rico, though. It was like a little state Rico, really, just because of the Aiden McClendon shit. You know what I mean? They wanted to, like, send a message or some shit, so they, like, arrested a lot of people from 6 Block, but it wasn't like a proper Rico, in my opinion. It was like a knockoff Rico, like a junior Rico, you know what I mean? Because it was like a state Rico, not a federal Rico, so no one really, like, only a few people got arrested, and a lot of people, like, beat the case. Like, I think Soldier K was also involved in that. Like, a lot of guys beat it. It wasn't, like, a big, serious thing. What I'm thinking, though, is the FBI might actually be doing a Rico, because a lot of, like, there's been leaked police reports and shit, talking about how the FBI was actually at, I think it was Michi's funeral, Michi and B5's funeral, because Leakey's funeral got shot up back in 2020, and so they wanted to, like, have a presence there or some shit. So the FBI is in Jacksonville. That's like, you gotta know that. The FBI is watching these guys to a certain extent, so they know about the shit that's going on. However, are they gonna act on it? That's the question. Right now, I'm thinking there's probably like a, I don't know, I'd say there's probably like a, maybe like a 54% chance a Rico happens, like, and it might not happen this year, like, it might actually be later, but I'm thinking, like, in terms of all the shit that's, like, happened, I feel like if a Rico is gonna happen, it's probably gonna happen this year or maybe next year. Because just think about the shit they've done, right? Like, I know it's like a lot of these cases are old, you know, happened like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. There's a lot of shit that, like, kind of got pushed under the rug, but think about this shit. Like, there was people getting killed in broad daylight on the highway, like, people getting, crashing into fucking semi-trucks, people getting murdered in broad daylight in front of Amazon on the highway, you know what I mean, in all these public places, outside as well. You got, like, interstate shit, you got people getting killed in Georgia, in Waycross, from, like, from beef stemming from Jacksonville. You have people getting killed in drive-bys in Orlando. Like, it's really crazy shit. I mean, if you actually look at the amount of shit that's gone on, like, it spans, like, the Jacksonville beef is actually one of the deadliest beefs, because it's literally, like, spread out, like, all over the place. If you think about that shit, like, that beef's, like, spread out. Like, it started off in Jacksonville, but you got Jacksonville shit going on in Waycross, Orlando, Texas. I think there was even, Orlando as well. I think I already said Orlando. Like, there's all sorts of shit going on. Like, it really stems, like, it stems from Jacksonville, but that shit really spread out all over, like, even beyond the state of Florida. So that means you got the Waycross Police Department getting involved. You got the Texas police, or, like, whatever, the Houston police getting involved. You got the Orlando PD. Maybe even Atlanta, because that guy I was talking about in the last video, he's been like, you know what I mean, doing shit in Atlanta, like trying to recruit blood sets from Atlanta in some sort of big ass coalition to, like, you know what I mean, like do all this shit, you know what I mean, like, and it's like interstate murder for hire. Like that's one of the biggest things. Like murder, like the FBI doesn't care about murder that much. The main thing they like target, I think, is like murder for hire. So that's like some mob boss shit where you just call the hits. When you got someone or multiple people doing that shit, then it becomes dangerous because it's like, oh shit, like you got, you know, borderline small crime bosses at this point doing this shit. So I think they might actually look into that. And the FBI's already been, like, it's confirmed that they were in Jacksonville. They were like at Michi and B5's funerals and shit. So they're there. And I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Rico hasn't happened in a while because there's been so much shit going on. It's been like 4 years since the war really popped off like crazy in 2020. But I think 2023, if that was the year that probably pushed it, to be honest. Like, I think if 2023 was just chill, I think the chances of a Rico happening would have been less, but that didn't happen. That fucking funeral picture, that's crazy. Or the graveyard picture is actually so fucking crazy how that one fucking picture, like, did so much shit. Like, the domino effect is fucking crazy. Like, just their decision to go to that graveyard and take a picture at 23's grave, that shit changed everything. Like what, over 4 people are dead now because of that. It hasn't even been a year since that pic came out. Like, that's just fucking nuts. Especially, and I think the main thing is they're worried about like ATK, 1200, and the guys, they got like the breadwinners, you know, putting out hits from across state lines and ordering murders, ordering shit, all this shit, you know what I mean? And the thing is, they're doing it quite sloppily, to be honest. Like, they're getting away with it, but like the amount of self-snitching is fucking crazy. For one, they're literally admitting like what they do. Backstreet is a little smarter, but Tilly was kind of self-snitching a lot though. Like, but as a whole, Backstreet's a lot smarter than 1200 and how they do their work. I mean, God, the 1200 guys, this is ridiculous. Like, some of the shit these guys say. Like, I don't know, I'm not even gonna start on that. But like, if you just go and look at some of their social medias, it's fucking nuts. Like, what the shit these guys say, it's so self-incriminating. But anyway, like, so I think 2023 really pushed it over the edge because you had, you know, a 16-year-old getting killed. Okay, that's pretty standard. Okay, but then you had Jake Jit, another teenager, getting wiped out on the highway. Like, that shit was nuts. Like, in broad daylight, gunfire erupting on a fight. Like, imagine this shit. Like, imagine going to work. Like, imagine you're coming back from work, right? You work at like some lame ass job. You're like an accountant or some shit, right? You're driving back to work, right, on the fucking bridge, and you see people just start shooting at a car, and the car speeds off and crashes into a FedEx truck. Like, that shit is insane, and it literally flattened the car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, J-Dot said pancake. That's really pancake. Like, it really happened that way. Like, Jake's car literally got flattened. But anyway, like, yeah, like, you had that, and then you had Rico getting killed. It's just so much crazy shit. It's like, I feel like a Rico has to be coming, because I think the FBI, they've seen the shit, the violence is out of control, and they're like, JSO can't handle this shit. We gotta step in. And I think 1200 is probably going to be the main target. In my opinion, I think 1200 is going to be like at the top of the Rico, possibly ATK. As for AV6, I've said this before. AV6 isn't very organized. Like, AV6, it's just like they're just a bunch of like I'm not trying to diss them, but they're not like, they're just a bunch of hood guys, and they just like all, there's so many of them, and then like they'll have crash dummies and they'll go drill, but it's like, and then they get caught immediately because they don't know how to drill. You know what I mean? So it's not like an organized shit like 1200 ATK where they got like, you know what I mean, big ass breadwinners, like rappers, several rappers putting hits on people, doing all this shit. Probably like doing money laundering and shit through the record labels and shit like that. You know, 6 Block, I mean, AV6 is literally just Fulio. He's like the only person from that side who's actually like, you know, blown up, and it's just him, and he doesn't help his hood. That's the thing, like, everyone knows. Fulio doesn't help his hood, like, so it's not like he's, you know, he didn't do what 1200 did. He started A-Team Records or anything. He's like getting his friends, you know, record deals and shit like that. Like, that's not going on. So, and the thing is this, right? If they wanted to if they wanted to Rico AV6, who are they gonna Rico? Like, they're already all in prison. Like, that's the thing, is AV6, all the people AV6 has killed, they're all in prison. Like, all the murderers from AV6, all the steppers, they're all in prison. So it's like, who are you gonna Rico? Like, you're gonna Rico K Shorty? He's already in fucking prison. You're gonna Rico Tufo? He's already in prison. You're gonna Rico, I don't fucking know, Trady? He's dead. You're gonna Rico 50K? He's in prison. You know what I mean? Like, they're all in prison. So it's like, Kojak's in prison too. Like everyone's in prison. So it's like, what are you gonna do? You can't really Rico them. But 1200 though, they get away with so much shit. that, and they're like organized and they got money and they're famous and they're self-snitching so much. I think 1200 is probably gonna be the main target. Backstreet, I don't think Backstreet's gonna be the main target, to be honest though. Like they might get like some blowback effect for being like associated with ATK, but overall like Backstreet, it's just a bunch of young kids, honestly. Like Backstreet, it's just a bunch of shorties, pretty much, and they just kind of, you know, started coming up. They've only killed like a few people this year, so it's like I don't think they're gonna be targeted because they don't even have like big rappers or anything like that. Like if you look at the news talking about like 6 Block, Bully Gang, 1200, ATK, like they don't talk about Backstreet. You know what I mean? They're like, you know, they're not mentioned in any of that shit. But yeah, I think it's probably gonna be 1200. And of the 1200 members, who I'm thinking is gonna get like locked up, I don't know, man. Like, probably a lot of them. I don't know. I mean, I'm not snitching, though. So, I'm just going to say my predictions. I think if there is going to be an indictment on 1200 and a Rico, I think some of the people are going to get swooped up. If there is an indictment, it's definitely going to be J-Dot. Definitely J-Dot's going to be swooped up in that shit. Like, there's no question about that shit. Green Light probably as well. Possibly Spins. Spins is kind of quiet now, though. Like, he hasn't been doing too much shit. He's kind of falling back, which is the smart decision. That's a smart move from him. Possibly WAP. Probably WAP, honestly. I think WAP knows what's coming because he changed his Instagram profile picture to Jesus, and he's like posting pictures of him with his kids saying he's a good citizen or some shit like that. Like he's kind of trolling. I think he knows what's coming. But yeah, Green Light definitely. Possibly some of the lower level guys too, like Q3, maybe like Zay. And then for ATK, I mean, I know like people saying Ace might get swooped up. I don't really know about Ace, like. Because Ace, I don't know, Ace is kind of smarter than them. I mean, he was kind of self-snitching last year about certain shit, but, I don't know, I think he's kind of smart, and, like, I think, I don't know, I'd say with Ace, it's like a 50-50 chance he gets swooped up, but he's like the only kind of shot caller for ATK. I don't think, like, Tate Shots is gonna get swooped up, or, you know, Foul Out Sosa, I don't think they're gonna get swooped up, you know what I mean? And like half of ATK is already in prison as well. I think some guy was concerned about Lil Papa getting swooped up. I think Lil Papa's good. Like Lil Papa, I don't think he's really on that shit. Like he might have dropped a few bags here and there, maybe, like a big maybe. But from what I think, he's just an artist. You know what I mean? Just kind of from 1200. Maybe he's just really good at hiding it though. Who knows? Like maybe Lil Papa is secretly the mastermind behind everything, and he just acts really good. But I don't think he's gonna get swooped up. Oh, I forgot J4 Crazy. Yeah, he might get swooped up too. But yeah, I mean, I hope this doesn't happen because, like, you know what I mean? The music is really hard. Like, I don't want no one to go to prison, but I'm just thinking, like, it seems like JSO is kind of starting to creep up on these guys. They're starting to act more paranoid and shit. Deleting a lot of social media shit. There's a lot of whispers about the Rico. The FBI's already in there and shit. I mean, Green Light was already mentioned as a person of interest in a homicide. Like, and I think it was like one music video. It was like he literally just played an intro or some shit talking about like that he's a person of interest in a fucking homicide case. You want to look through like, you know, what's that shit called? Paperwork, just kind of FOIA's paperwork on Core. A lot of the shit is like you can gain some insights on that shit. Yeah, Green Light. Man, like Green Light, I feel like Green Light's days are kind of numbered, to be honest. Like he's just done so much stuff and like. He's just put in so much work, and I feel like the walls are kind of closing in on him, to be honest. I think he kind of realizes that on his Insta. He was like at the beach, just kind of contemplating life and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, if the Rico does happen, I don't think they're getting away with this because there's been so much fucking self-snitching, and you know what I mean? They probably got like snitches in there, and you know what I mean? Like they've probably been watching them way more already. Like they know what's going on. That's the thing. People think like. People from the outside like me are like snitching, like fuck off. The FBI, man, if random people on the internet know all this shit, the FBI definitely knows this shit, okay? Because they get paid to do that. I don't get paid to do this shit. They get paid to do that shit. And they're a whole government agency. Like, they totally know what's going on. And you know what I mean? And this is the thing, like with the Ricos, even if 1200 or whatever, whoever gets busted is like so smart in terms of like not leaving any evidence, all it takes is one slip up. Just one slip up, like one person fucking up. And then it's like, oh shit, you know, you're convicted of murder, and then they'll like might get him to snitch. You know what I mean? Like maybe we'll cut your sentence down by 50%. You just tell us who's running shit or blah blah blah. Or you know, they might charge it, be like, okay, so he's like a member of 1200. It's a Rico, so you're all 1200 members, and you're all going to prison or some shit like that. Last thing I was gonna say, this kind of ramble. I forgot what I was gonna say. Some other shit about the Rico. Yeah, I mean like, because the thing is this, like, even if like they get like busted, like I don't think they're gonna beat it because it's like the feds have a 90, I think it was like a 95% clearance rate. And this is the thing though, is like if they drop a Rico on you, that means they've been watching you for a long time. Because a lot of people think like they haven't been convicting these guys because they're waiting for more shit to happen so that they can throw more shit at them. You know what I mean? Like if they knew who killed Mitch back in 2 years ago, they wouldn't have just swooped him up. They just would have watched and just kind of added it to the list and waited and gathered more evidence and have a more solid case that when it's ready, just throw that shit on them. You got them. You know what I mean? All in one big bundle. And if that happens, I don't think there's no beating that shit. Cause man, it's like the FBI, man. These people, like, they know what they're doing, and they have like a 95% clearance rate. I would be extremely fucking shocked if they just we're innocent on all charges. You know what I mean? Everyone is free and lives to have another happy day or some shit. I don't think that's gonna happen. But this is the thing though, is like this shit can go on for a long time, but eventually the feds are gonna come. Because just look at the O-Block shit, the O-Block and STL shit. That shit went on for like, what was that, like 10 years. Like literally, that shit went on for 10 years without any police really giving a shit. Even in the Get Back gang, right? When O-Block was like exterminating everyone in in 63rd back in like 2017, they killed so many fucking people. Even then, the feds didn't give a shit. Until Duck, and then they came in and swooped everyone up. So like I think this is broad daylight shit. I mean, this is the thing. The kind of warning signs for when a Rico's coming, it's they do some crazy shit in public and in broad daylight. Duck got killed on Oak Street, where all the rich people are. So far there hasn't been anything like that in Jacksonville too much, but like it just adds up. Like killing people in broad daylight, in Amazon. In the highway, like that shit, like it scares people, and the police, they need to maintain order, and they're not gonna let that shit slide. So I think eventually it's just gonna, you know what I mean, you can't escape that shit. I've been talking for so long already, but yeah, I'm gonna just end it here. All right, see ya.